MGI has published their year-end report for 2021. With me on link is, of course, CEO Remco Westermann. Welcome, Remco.
Good morning, Martin.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to start in the end of the market received quite some attention after the report was published. The share price jumped a bit, and it was quite a rare event in these market times. So I'm guessing that the investors were quite satisfactory with what they saw in the report. Could you perhaps give us a brief commentary on the results for the quarter and for the year as a whole?
Yeah, we had a very good 2021, I have to say. It was another good year in a row. But in Q4, we were able to grow our revenues by 65% versus the same quarter the year before. And out of that, 26% was organic, which is, of course, very strong. And our adjusted EBITDA even grew stronger with 131%. So that was really very good Q4. And if you look at the full year, we did over 250 million revenues, so 252 million euros of revenues, which is the third year in a row. So we did since 2018 on average of 77% CAGR. EBITDA was also very good. So we did 71 million EBITDA in 2021. And that's an EBITDA margin of 26%, which is also a strong improvement versus the year before. What we see is that our flywheel really starts to work. And that's, it's really cool. So we're really happy.
I'm interested about this flywheel, so I'm going to ask you a few questions about it soon. But first, I want to be a bit nostalgic. Looking back over the year, now this is a year-end report. How would you describe that the company has changed from January 2021 to today?
Yeah, the company has become a lot stronger. I mean, if you look a little bit further back, we only listed in October 2020 on the Nasdaq First North Premier. I think that was a really big event. We were listed before already in Germany, but becoming listed in Sweden, we got a totally different traction on the capital markets. So that made our access to capital markets a lot easier, different shareholder base. And by that, there were a lot of changes that were coming with the growth, also with our focus, of course. And I mean, from that, we have been growing. If you look where we come from, we started as a games company, basically. That's quite some years ago. This year, we're doing this now for 10 years this year. And then we have started to add the media part to really, to do better user acquisition, to sell the ads in the games better. So that was a very strong choice, I think, that we did. But what we saw in the last year, in 2021, that really this flywheel between media and gaming, so between having own content and having also the media spots, the advertisers, the publishers, is really starting to work.
Now tell me more about the flywheel. What's the context behind it and how does it work?
Yeah, the flywheel basically are three elements. We have that also in our presentation that you can see. It's it's a combination between, on the one hand, having own proprietary content, which gives access to first-party data, which gives access to a lot of own ads, which give it a very good value. Then the second point is to have the platform which connects advertisers and publishers, which does the bidding processes and all the technology around that. And the third part is the data part, where we optimize for data. Because seemingly there's the conflict between advertiser and publisher. Advertiser wants to pay as little as possible. A publisher wants to get as much money as possible for his ads. But by data, we can, of course, optimize that. And if the advertiser can target better, he is willing to spend more per ad, but just has to do less ads to reach the same or to reach better result. So that's basically what we're doing at Flywheel, is really combining those three elements. So the own content, the data, and the platform, so the connecting advertisers and publishers. And that works really well. And the flywheel then is, if you get more publishers, you get more advertisers. If you have more content, you get even more. And so the flywheel spins, as we say that.
It sounds reasonable, and it seems to me as it offers some competitive advantage. But I haven't heard that much of it before. Why do you think other companies do not use it?
Yeah, there are other companies using it. If you look in the US, for example, AppLovin and ironSource, two companies that did their IPO last year, are both using it. They have also strong content base. They also have the technology in place. But indeed, it's very rare. There's more gaming companies starting to see the advantage and wanting also to get into that, let's say, to get a solution like that. So what we saw in the recent years that Zynga, for example, has been acquiring ad technology, but also Microsoft. They acquired Activision Blizzard, as everybody knows, but they also just before that acquired Xandr, a very big advertising platform. So you see that this game of having own content and also having the ad tech in place is an extremely strong combination that just drives a lot of energy, a lot more, efficiency. But it's not easy. There's not that many targets to acquire. There is, let's say, to build this. I mean, we are doing this now for 4 years altogether. So it takes time to really get there and to see this flywheel really start moving.
Now, Remco, you also, I saw in the report that you described the MGI as an advertising software platform. Could you elaborate a bit about the idea behind that?
Yeah, there is advertising software platform is indeed consisting of our EdTech platform, which is connecting the publishers and advertisers. So there is a DSP demand side platform and supply side platform. So we are fully vertical, which gives us a lot of transparency in a world where identifiers are disappearing, an extreme competitive advantage. And also it's multi-channel, which means that we serve in-app, but also mobile web, normal web, connected TV, and also digital out of home. So by that, we really are a one-stop shop for advertisers and publishers that in the best way can, let's say, do customer acquisition or sell their products or also acquire customers or get new customers. And that really works very well. And based on that, it's basically the flywheel. And then if you put this data part on top of it, which comes from having own content, having own customer bases, but also, for example, we have a large SDK base integrated in a lot of apps. And if you take those things together, plus the technology with artificial intelligence and things to improve the results, then you have a really, very good combination.
Remco, I'm getting a few questions in the chat as well. I want to bring them up. There's this viewer asking, Media Games Invest seems to become a cash machine. How do you see the revenue split will develop between the media part compared to the pure games part?
Yeah, what we have seen in the last year is that the media part has become much stronger than the games part. But the games part is very important. I got a question yesterday also, and let's say then it was about M&A. It's not that we're now only going to focus on media. I mean, the combination of the two makes the strength. So we will further continue to grow. In our forecast, we are quite careful. We do a lot of game launches are coming up this year. But as we all know, or let's say should know, there's so many game launches each month. So game launches, you cannot guarantee a success. And it's also very difficult to plan that in the guidance. So we are extremely conservative there. But we probably will see some nice surprises on the gaming side. Yeah, on the media side, there's further about adding more customers, making sure that they can buy more products, make them happy, make sure that the data part works. And so altogether, we will grow both sides. And as I said, the combination really makes the difference.
You also announced in the report that you're making some governance changes. Has anything changed in that respect? What are the latest developments?
Yeah, we're working on that. The company, of course, has been growing extremely fast. And with that also, we got a different shareholder base, different capital markets appearance. And also shareholders expecting us to do things there. And we're also wanting to do things there. But things like this take a bit of time. So the first thing we had to decide is moving our headquarters. Because as most know, we were based or still are based actually in Malta, which is not ideal. A lot of investors not allowed to invest there. So that has been decided now. We will move to Sweden, to Stockholm. We have already offices there. So that makes it really a lot easier. We know the capital markets. But that was the first step that we had to take. And then after that now, we will, based on the, let's say, Swedish corporate governance, extend the board, getting more expertise, for example, finance, but also on the media side, install a nomination committee, a remuneration committee, and an audit committee. And also we're working on improving our internal control systems, which would also enable us, for example, and not promising it here, but for example, to move to a regulated market.
Now, you've had a quite a successful year, as you mentioned earlier in the interview as well. If you're looking ahead instead, what do you see? Where do you see MGI going in the next year?
Yeah, we see further strong growth for the next years. As I said, we have a very strong base. We have given out a guidance for 2022. We had a good start already, but the guidance is, I have to really admit, quite careful. So we are guiding for 290 to 310 million revenues, which is still a strong growth. And that's without any additional or new M&A, which I also would expect that we will do some. And then with an 80 to 90 million EBITDA. So that's our first guidance for this year. Yeah, there's a lot happening in the world at the moment, market insecurities, all those things. Things changing in on the media side, consolidation also on the gaming side. So we are really a bit careful here. We are principally quite risk averse, I would say, and we will, I hope, take up the guidance during the year. But this is the guidance that we came out with now. And we also presented our Vision 2025 because we also want to give a bit longer term, view ahead. And there, let's say, are the things where we focus on. And that's not only the commercial things. The first point that we have mentioned there is really, becoming a desired global company to work for. Employees are extremely important to be successful as a company, and I'm really happy that we have a great team. But that, of course, needs to stay. And if we become bigger, it's still important that we don't have politics and all these kind of things. And then the second point is indeed being one of the top 5 worldwide leading ad software platforms. Then the third one is, again, that has to do with it, but respecting our partners' values. I think it's very important to see that we work for a lot of other game companies. And there, of course, we need to be extremely careful with also working for our own game company, that there are Chinese walls or that everything is very transparent. So that's a very important point. And then the fourth point that we mentioned in our Vision 2025 is that we also want to bring the platform that we have, so the ad software platform, to also open that up for third parties as a white label, which would allow companies that also want to have ad technology and the platform and the flywheel, basically to have it as if it is their own, but being managed and be done by us. So those are the things that we mentioned there. And yeah, there's a lot to come. And I'm looking forward for 2022 and the years after that, of course.
Yeah, and talking about the future, I noticed a buzzword in the chat as well, the Metaverse. Do you have any plans or thoughts about including it? It's been prevalent in gaming companies before that they want to find some kind of exposure. Do you have any plans considering the Metaverse?
Yeah, the Metaverse is, you say it's a buzzword. It's a bit of a still very undefined term, I would say. It's really saying that we all get more digital, which is a movement that we see anyway. But Metaverse, we have it in games already. I mean, that people are in games with their avatars and things like that. So I think that's the closest that comes at the moment to it. And there, of course, advertising, again, is a very important part. So, I mean, that's one of the things that we also, of course, very carefully watching. And yeah, we're not shouting it so loud, but the Metaverse, if it comes, and it will come in some way, one way or the other, is also for us going to be a very nice way to further grow.
Of course. Remco, thank you so much for taking the time and answering my questions, and good luck with 2022, sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martin. Thanks.